So before we get into this video, I want to talk about just promotional stuff just real quick. Check out my link tree down below to follow my filmmaking journey. It would mean the world to me. You guys can check out my Blu-ray for Pesadilla, my short films on Gumroad, also Rocky Wake, our official pages for that. That's my next big feature. Check it out. It would mean the world to me. Sometimes you just find that one film. Well, this isn't that one film, but sometimes you find that film that it feels really big. It feels kind of huge. It feels like it's ahead of its time. And it feels like it's more important than you think it actually is. Because when you start thinking about it, you start thinking about things that happened in the film, and you start thinking about the themes, and you start thinking about what it all really meant. And that's Evolution 2015 from Lucille Hadji-Alilovic. I hope I'm saying that right. She is also Gaspar Noé's wife, which is honestly really, really cool. I feel like you gotta be like, I don't know, you have to be a special type of person, I think, to be married to Gaspar Noé, and I mean that positively. That is awesome. That is awesome. I have not seen Lucille's other films. This is the first one that I have seen. I saw that the New York Times was doing the whole 100 best films of the 21st century, and this was actually on somebody's list. This was on somebody's list, and I was very intrigued. And I looked it up, and I've never heard of this film before. Evolution. Okay, let's see what it's about. And then you go and you look at the reviews, and I mean, the reviews aren't really all that great. I mean, that's how you know it's probably going to be really good. Like, it's got an 83% from Rotten Tomatoes. That's from critics. Okay. It's got a 44% from audiences. That's how you know it's going to be good. from the audience one. The audience is split down the middle. That's always a good sign. 5.9 on IMDb, 3.3 on Letterboxd. Now, I'm not here to say that this is the greatest movie you're missing out on. You know, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is Evolution, in a way, transcends cinema. And I know that sounds very pretentious. It does. It really does. But it's one of those films where, again, what it's trying to do is more than just be a movie. It's very much so talking about, you know, themes of motherhood, themes of loss, the anxiety of motherhood, birth, life, you know, progression. I mean, there's so many different themes that this film is trying to tackle. But the thing that's so beautiful about it is the film never loses its way. It always knows what it's trying to do. It knows what it wants to be, even though you might not think the film knows what it wants to be. The film knows what it wants to be, very much so. And I think that's kind of confirmed in the ending of it, which I won't spoil anything, but the final shot with the credits, it just gave me chills. This is one of those films where it's risky to make as a filmmaker, because you're going to have to accept that right now people are not going to like it. I do believe that this film hopefully will find its audience. I think that, you know, this is a film that I've heard more people talking about it now than I have before, because when I looked it up, you know, it seems like people actually do enjoy this film for the most part. So see, like, I'm looking right here, there's some reviews as of recently. So I guess hopefully it's, you know, getting some traction, because it needs to. And these are the types of films that I really like to make. The films that these are the videos I really like to make, because I like to talk about films that you might not have seen or might go under the radar, because there's plenty of them that I watch that I just completely, you know, don't even think about, and then I get a recommendation and then I watch it and I'm like, wow, this is genuinely one of the best things I think I've ever seen. With Evolution, it opens up underneath the water, and you're looking at all of the stuff down below, on the sea floor, the ocean floor, I guess, specifically a starfish. There's also coral reefs. There's, you know, families of fish. It's very kind of, in a way, meditative. It opens up very boldly, because it literally just does this for like 5 minutes, and it's an 81-minute long film, and it does this for like 5 minutes. And, you know, I could definitely see people watching it and deciding to turn it off, because, I mean, what is happening right now? There's nothing happening. But then as you progress further through the film, you find out that there are these boys and there's these older women that are conducting experiments on them, or not necessarily experiments, but they're feeding them this weird, nasty blue gook or whatever it is. I don't know what it was, but it was disgusting. I hated looking at it. And they're watching these specific videos on this tape. They're doing almost like these weird sort of ritual things, which this stuff can come across corny, but in this film it doesn't. It very much so is grounded. It knows exactly what it's trying to do. there's a certain level of anxiety when it comes to these kids because there's this uncertainty where you don't really know what's going on, therefore you don't really know what's going to happen to them. But then at the same time, they almost feel kind of comforted with what they're doing. You know, like these kids, they don't think of anything out of the ordinary. They just think that they're going about their normal days, especially the couple of kids, the not the main kid that we follow, but the other couple of kids, and it's just the way that it's executed. It's a slow burn, but it never drags. It's one of those films where you do get closer to an answer the more you watch it, and you feel like you're getting closer to an answer, but then whenever you finally make it to the end, it's like, okay, I think I see what you're doing there. And I really want to watch this again, but I would love to watch it with other people because I don't think that there's necessarily one good interpretation. When people watch films like this, a lot of the times, whenever, a viewer watches something like this, a viewer might think, oh, well, there is a meaning to it behind, the filmmaker's eyes, but it's up to me to try to figure that out. And I think that's what kind of rubs people off the wrong way, where people don't understand the film. It's like, okay, well, the filmmaker understands it, so, why can't we understand it? I don't think that's necessarily what it is all the time. I do think that, there is a certain approach you have to take to, kind of critiquing these types of films, because I don't think that even the filmmaker knows what's going on sometimes. There's stuff that I've made that I don't really understand it either. It's just kind of a feeling, and sometimes, you have to accept that it can operate as a feeling, and sometimes there might not be an answer, or maybe the answer that you have is right, which is a hard pill to swallow for some people because it really is a lot to hold on to when it comes to watching a film. And I love watching films like that where the filmmaker doesn't know what's going on, the film doesn't know what's going on, nobody knows what's going on, so technically speaking, objectively, what I say about the film is correct. And in my eyes, at least, just like what you would say about it would be correct. And that's just, it adds just this weight on your shoulders where you're like, wow, okay, I get to sort of decide what this means. That's how Evolution feels, but I feel like it goes deeper than that. Again, I think it's a very important film. I really, really hope more people watch this film. And if you're coming across this video, check it out, guys. It is, look, you're not going to watch it and think it's the greatest film of all time. You might not even like it, but the thing is it's important. And I do think I can safely say it's probably one of the most important films of, this century at least. It's one of the more important films that I've ever seen. It feels very urgent, and that's why I keep thinking about it. That's why I decided to make a video like right after watching it. But it's worth the watch. And again, go into it almost like you're not even watching a film. You're almost observing something. You're almost observing a big question almost. It's unique. I don't know. It's unique. You should definitely check it out. But anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a thumbs up and maybe subscribe. Check out my stuff down below. You can also check out my short films. Just check out my stuff. Check it out, please.